September 26th, and I'm here with Royce.
Hello.
And we are attempting to put together the saw table that I bought. Saw table. I keep saying saw table.
Table saw.
Right. She said it's the cops!
Somebody else has been using their table saw.
Anyway, so we're trying to put together, and what did I buy? A Porter cable. I don't know, the box is in here. We turned it into a kid, kids love boxes. I don't know why, but they love boxes. Anyway, so whatever this thing is, we bought Porter cable, 15 amp focus, if you would, camera. It's too dark in here. Anyways, and we're trying to put it together, and we're finding that none of the bags are labeled, which is one weird thing. Like it's like open up bag P, and it's like none of these bags have any kind of label on them to tell you what it is. But thankfully, Royce found in the instructions that there's like a sheet that shows what's in all the bags. Yeah. So
index.
So I guess there's an index, so that's great. But I mean, put labels on your stupid bags. Alright, so it's, what, a couple hours later, and ta-da-da! We now have a table saw and a cart. Thanks, Royce.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody else, kinda, sorta. They didn't help at all. But, yep, I think it's gonna work out just fine. Now let's see if we can get it downstairs and turn it on. Alright, we'll give it a shot. Here's my phobia of table saws is already ramping up. Yeah, you're like, I'll just hide over here, right? It was actually quiet when you cut. Seems to work. Well, there we go. One saw, no waiting. Thanks, Royce, for all your help today.
Oh, no problem.
It took us all day to put a saw together. I don't know if we're that good at things, Royce.
Said 45 minutes.
45 minutes to all day, whatever. So, yeah, I play around with it a little more. I hook my vacuum up to this thing here because it just chucked sawdust all over there. So, whatever. Or maybe just put a bin there. If it chucks sawdust out that vigorously, I could probably just put like a hose on it and
not pointing out too bad, but you need to vacuum down here anyways.
Down over here is really bad, but over here I vacuumed everything, man. This is.
But
That's why I put the table saw in. Well, that's why I put the table saw over there, because this area has been cleaned and then cleaned and then cleaned a third time. So this is all ready. Why is there a pool of water under the dehumidifier?
Can't help you there.
It never ends.
Is your humidifier full?
No, when it fills, it goes beep 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 and stops. So maybe I spilled water. Maybe it is full. I don't know.
Up through
So the next thing to do is the board, and then start work on the vertical supports. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. This morning starts off in the basement. I sat down and did some sketching and calculating and measuring, and I've come up with this plan. So I know that it's 88 inches from the top here to the floor. So I've got to subtract 1.5 inches from these boards here. But right now I'm going to construct this board right here, or cut this board right here, because that needs to get glued into place so everything else can secure to the floor, so that I don't have this wobbly unsecured panel essentially. So that's the starting point. Today I need to cut that board. I need to clean the floor, dry the floor, wait for it to be completely dry, and then liquid nail that board in place and let that cure before I start trying to adhere any more to it. So I cut the first board, and now this is happening. I think that the blade may have just come in loose, and in fact it's wobbly. So yeah, and I can even see that the cut isn't perfect and whatnot. So maybe its first real test it came loose. Anyways, I'll disconnect everything, power, pull it apart, and see if I need to tighten it more. Yeah, just a little technical snafu. So yeah, I tightened it back down, and now it's nice and tight in place. So I don't know if I'm gonna do more cutting today, and this isn't perfectly straight, I guess, or perfectly square, but it's pretty close. So that'll probably be okay. Now I need to clean a floor and get ready to liquid nail this guy in place. Alright. So after owning a table saw for a little bit, I've created my masterpiece. I cut out these notches here and then one here, because when I put them up against the wall, beating the wall stone, there was some interference here and there was some interference there, so I notched that out, which interestingly enough, you have to take the safeties off the table saw to do little miter cut stuff like that. That's kind of annoying. I don't know, it just seems odd. Anyways, so that's done. Now I need to clean the floor and get the liquid nails out and that guy in place. It's a couple hours later, and after checking to make sure the floor is nice and dry, I got the board installed, and it's liquid nailed down to the ground, and then I just put some bricks on top of it to give it some pressure, maybe hopefully hold it securely. So now I wait for that to cure, and while that happens, I should be able to manufacture the vertical posts I need out of those two, and hopefully I can put the vertical posts in and start getting everything kind of fitted, make sure everything fits properly. My one concern is ripping down this board for space. Like, I mean, you know, it's going to be a pain to cut it down here. I'm going to have to think of some nifty way to make that happen, because if that board's, like if I turn that 90 degrees, I might be able to slide the board that way and cut it, but it's going to be a thing.